There's nothing you need to do right now. You don't need to listen closely. You don't need to remember anything. Don't do anything yet. And you don't need to stay awake. This is Night Letters, a quiet place at the end of the day. Tonight, we'll spend some time in a gentle place, moving slowly, without any rush. You can let the words pass by if you like, or you can follow along for as long as you're comfortable. And if sleep comes, you're welcome to let it. The caravan has already come to a stop. Movement has faded from the sand, leaving the ground smooth and quiet again. Footsteps that once pressed into the desert have softened, their edges already beginning to disappear. The marks no longer point anywhere. Nothing travels forward now. Nothing needs to. The air feels different when the last motion ends. Not cooler yet. Not fully changed. Just calmer. As if the day has finally loosened its grip and stepped back. Heat still lingers, but it no longer insists. It settles instead, thinning out, allowing space to breathe. The wide desert stretches in every direction, unchanged, patient, resting beneath a sky that is slowly darkening without ceremony. Loads have been set down earlier, without hurry. Bundles rest where they were placed, their shapes familiar, their weight already forgotten. Straps lie slack, containers sit closed. Nothing is being adjusted anymore. What needed attention received it when the light was stronger. What needed effort has already taken it. What needed to be done has already been done. Tents stand quietly now. Their fabric holds its shape easily, forming gentle, predictable outlines against the sand. Poles are steady. Lines are firm without strain. They do not flap or pull. There is no wind to disturb them. No sudden shift in the air. The desert seems content to let them remain exactly as they are, neither challenging nor testing their presence. A low fire glows near the center of the camp. Not a flame meant for cooking or gathering. Not something bright or demanding. Just embers, giving off a steady warmth, a soft, contained light. The glow does not reach far. It rests close to the ground, illuminating only what is nearby, then fading gently into shadow. The fire does not ask for attention. It simply exists. Around the camp, the desert remains vast and open, but it no longer feels empty. The presence of the caravan settles into the space naturally, as if it has been here many times before. As if this shape, this arrangement of stillness and shelter, is familiar to the land itself. The ground does not resist it. It accepts the weight, the pause, the quiet. People move less now. Those who are standing have begun to sit. Those who are walking have found places to rest. Movements are slow and practiced, the kind that happen without thought or decision. A shift of weight, a bend of the knees, a body lowering itself toward the sand. No one rushes. No one lingers over tasks. The rhythm of the day has already ended. The sky deepens quietly overhead. Stars begin to appear. Not all at once, not suddenly, but gradually, filling the space without drawing attention to themselves. One becomes visible, then another, then several more, until the darkness holds them easily. They remain steady and distant, offering no direction, no urgency, just presence, silent, unchanged. Breathing slows naturally in the cooler air, in and out. The sound of it blends easily with the quiet, unremarkable, easy to forget. It does not stand out. It belongs here. The body adjusts without instruction, following the shift from effort to rest. The sand beneath feels firm and settled. It no longer shifts underfoot. It holds its shape now, comfortable in the absence of movement. Where the caravan passed earlier, the ground remembers, but only faintly. Lines soften, edges blur. The desert is already reclaiming the details, smoothing them down without haste. Some figures settle near the fire. Others move toward the tents, their silhouettes soft against the dim light. Shapes pass briefly through the glow, then dissolve into shadow. There is no conversation to follow, no story unfolding between them. Words are no longer needed. Whatever was exchanged earlier has already served its purpose. The day has already said everything it had to say. Shoulders loosen as weight shifts downward. Sitting replaces standing. Stillness replaces effort. Muscles release without being asked. The body recognizes the change before the mind does, responding to the simple fact that there is nothing left to prepare for. Nothing presses forward. The desert holds the camp gently, without demand. The vastness around it does not feel harsh or exposed. It feels wide and open in a way that allows rest, in a way that does not threaten. The fire remains low, its warmth steady, unobtrusive. It does not crackle loudly. It does not throw sparks. It does not flare. It simply glows, offering comfort without calling for attention, marking the center without dominating it. Tents rest evenly around it, their presence forming a loose, unforced circle. Inside them, the space feels ready, prepared earlier, without fuss, without urgency. The ground has been cleared. The fabric is settled. There is no sense of arrival anymore, no moment to mark. Only being here. Time stretches quietly now. There are no markers to count it by, no signals to follow, no need to measure its passing. The night has taken over gently, smoothing the edges left behind by the day, filling in the gaps without erasing what came before. Breathing continues, slow, even, in, out. The rhythm remains steady, unnoticed, unimportant. It does not need attention to continue. The caravan feels complete in this moment, not finished, not paused, simply settled, balanced. What lies ahead does not matter here. What came before no longer needs to be remembered. Neither pulls at the present, neither asks anything of it. The desert night accepts everything as it is. Movement has ended. Effort has faded. Rest has arrived on its own. And the camp remains. Quiet, held, unchanging, ready for the night to continue. Exactly as it is, without expectation, without interruption, without the need for anything more. The camp feels settled now, as if it has found its place in the desert without effort, without negotiation. The ground does not seem to question its presence. The space does not resist it. Everything rests together naturally, as though this arrangement has existed many times before. Nothing new is being added. Nothing is being rearranged. What stands easily. The tents rest in a loose circle, their fabric holding still in the quiet air. They do not pull or shift. They do not tighten or relax. They simply remain where they were placed earlier, their outlines soft against the sand. Poles hold without strain. Lines lie calm and unmoving. Shadows lie along their edges, unchanging, as if the light has already decided where it belongs. The fire at the center has lowered further. It no longer reaches upward. It no longer flickers with intention. It rests close to the ground, glowing steadily, its warmth contained, modest. The light does not travel far. It touches the sand nearby, then fades gently into darkness. Beyond that small circle of glow, nothing competes for attention. The desert beyond the camp feels wide and patient. It does not press inward. It does not pull away. There is no sound moving across it. No wind brushes the tents. No distant motion stirs the horizon. The space simply holds, open, accepting, vast without being demanding. People move very little now. Footprints soften, lines fade. The ground seems content to return to quiet, to let the marks of the day dissolve without resistance. The fire gives off a soft, steady glow. Not bright, not fading, just enough to remind the camp that warmth is present. It does not ask to be watched. It does not change. It holds its shape without effort, as though it too has settled into the night. Nearby, the shapes of supplies rest where they were set earlier. Bundles, containers, simple items placed with familiarity and care. They are no longer part of any task. They no longer suggest work or preparation. They are simply there, unremarkable, their purpose already fulfilled for the day. Time feels wider here. There is no clear sense of it passing. Moments do not arrive sharply. They soften as they appear, then drift away without notice. Nothing marks them. Nothing counts them. The night does not move forward so much as it deepens, spreading evenly across everything it touches. The tents seem closer now, not in distance, but in feeling. Their presence offers quiet shelter. Without needing to be entered yet, the fabric holds warmth from earlier. A faint memory of the day lingering in the folds. Inside, the space waits calmly, prepared without urgency, without expectation. The fire settles again. A brief shift, a subtle change in glow, then stillness. Light and shadow find balance, as if both have agreed to remain where they are. Breathing continues, slow, even, in, out. Nothing interrupts the rhythm. Nothing competes with it. The camp does not feel temporary in this moment. It feels complete, as though it has always rested here when night arrives, and will do so again without effort, as though the desert recognizes this pause and allows it fully. No one speaks. There is nothing that needs to be said. The desert sky deepens further overhead. The stars remain steady, distant, unchanged. They do not brighten dramatically. They do not fade. They simply remain where they are, offering no guidance, no demand, only presence. The fire's warmth reaches only a short distance now. Those nearby feel it lightly, a gentle contrast against the cooler air. Those farther away feel the night more clearly instead. Both sensations feel natural. Neither asks to be altered. A quiet sense of order settles across the camp, not imposed, not planned, just present. People lean slightly, sit more fully, or rest where they are. The motions are small enough to barely register. A shoulder lowers, a back eases, a head tilts forward, then stills. The body responds before the mind has reason to notice. The night air feels smooth as it moves across the sand. Not cold, not warm, just enough to ease the day away, to soften what remains of effort, to replace it with rest. The camp feels held within the larger stillness of the desert. Nothing presses inward, nothing pulls outward. The vastness surrounding it feels generous rather than exposed, open without being empty. Breathing remains slow, steady, in, out. The fire does not demand tending. It does not need attention. It does not change its shape. It simply glows, content to remain low, content to remain enough. Shadows along the tents stay in place. They do not lengthen noticeably. They do not shift. The light has found its resting point, and the darkness accepts it. Time continues, softly, without measure. There are no signals to follow, no moments to anticipate. The night unfolds without structure, smoothing the edges of awareness until nothing feels sharp. The camp rests within it. Nothing more is being prepared. Nothing more is being finished. Everything that matters here is already done. The desert holds the camp gently, and the camp holds its stillness in return. Settled, quiet, ready to remain exactly as it is, for as long as the night allows. The people of the caravan remain close to where they last settled. No one moves with purpose now. Movements arrive slowly, then fade. Some sit near the low fire, their shapes softened by the dim glow. They do not face one another directly. They simply share the space, present, without needing to engage. Hands rest where they fall. Shoulders ease downward. The body understands that the day has ended. Others have already moved toward the tent. Their outlines pause briefly at the entrances, then slip inside. The fabric shifts once, softly, and grows still again. Nothing follows. There is no sense of counting who remains awake and who has already rested. The distinction does not matter here. The camp does not require everyone to do the same thing at the same time. Breathing slows across the space, in and out. The rhythm settles naturally, different for each person, yet somehow aligned. These are people who know this moment well. They have ended days like this many times before. The motions that brought them here no longer need thought. Sitting replaces standing without effort. Stillness arrives without instruction. A figure near the fire adjusts slightly, easing closer to the warmth. The movement is small, careful, then finished. The body finds what it needs and does not ask for more. Another remains where they are, content with the cooler air. The night offers enough. There is no conversation to follow. Words have already been used during the day, and they are not needed now. Silence does not feel empty. It feels familiar. The camp holds the quiet easily. Breathing continues. Slow. Even. In. Out. The presence of the caravan feels balanced. No one draws attention. No one feels separate. Each person rests within the shared stillness. Without needing to be acknowledged, the fire glows low, reflecting softly on nearby faces. Features are indistinct in the dim light. Identity fades gently here. What matters is presence, not detail. Time stretches again. Moments arrive without edges. They drift in, then away, leaving no marks behind. Some figures shift their posture, leaning back slightly, or resting their hands more comfortably. The movements are slow enough to feel almost imagined. Each one settles quickly into stillness again. The tents remain quiet. Inside, the space is already arranged. Blankets lie where they were placed earlier. The warmth of the day lingers faintly in the fabric. The night air moves gently around it all, without disturbance. The caravan feels complete in this moment, not because everyone is here, but because nothing is missing. Breathing continues, soft, steady, in, out. The people near the fire remain still for long stretches now. Eyes rest without focus. Attention drifts without leaving. Awareness widens, no longer settling on any single thing. The desert beyond the camp remains silent. No sound carries across it. No distant movement presses inward. The space feels open and safe in its quiet. A figure rises slowly, not abruptly, just enough to shift position. The movement is unhurried. After a few steps, they stop, then settle again closer to the tent. The action feels practiced, familiar, unremarkable. The fire does not respond. The night does not respond. Everything holds. Breathing remains slow, even, in, out. The camp grows quieter, not because anything changes, but because attention fades. Small sounds that might have been noticed earlier now pass without being registered. The presence of others feels reassuring, without being demanding. Shared rest settles into the space gently. No one watches the fire. No one looks toward the stars. The moment does not ask to be observed. The caravan rests as a whole, not through coordination, but through familiarity. Each person follows the same quiet rhythm. They have followed many nights before. Time continues without measure. The fire lowers slightly, then steadies again. Light softens. Shadows deepen. Nothing shifts. Breathing continues. Slow, easy, in, out. The people of the caravan remain, then gradually become less distinct. Presence stays. Detail fades. The camp holds them all evenly, without preference, without urgency. The night deepens quietly, and the shared stillness grows more complete. The animals have already settled. They stand where they were guided earlier, or lie down where the sand felt right, their shapes forming quiet outlines around the edges of the camp. Nothing is being led now. Nothing is being tied or untied. The work involving them has already passed. Some remain standing, their weight resting evenly, legs steady beneath them. Others have folded themselves down, bodies lowering slowly, until the sand supports them fully. The movement was unhurried, practiced, familiar. Breathing moves through them slowly, in and out. The sound is soft, barely present, easy to overlook. Loads rest nearby, no longer part of motion. Packs and bundles sit where they were placed earlier, their weight released from backs and frames. Nothing presses forward anymore. Everything has been set down. A gentle shift of weight moves through one of the animals, then stops. The sand accepts the movement quietly, then smooths again. There is no restlessness here, no impatience. The animals know this pause well. They recognize the stillness that comes when the day is finished. Breathing continues, slow, even in, out. A tail moves once, then grows still again. Ears rest in relaxed positions, no longer turning toward distant sounds. There is nothing approaching, nothing calling for attention. The night air moves lightly across fur and hide, cooling surfaces that warmed under the sun earlier. The change feels gradual, gentle, without sharp contrast. The animals remain calm within it. Nearby, one shifts its head slightly, then settles, finding a more comfortable angle. The movement ends as quietly as it began. The camp does not respond. The fire does not respond. The night holds. Breathing continues. Soft, steady, in, out. The animal's presence feels grounding, steady, unhurried. Their calm spreads through the space naturally, without effort. There is no need for them to do anything more. The sand beneath them feels firm and cool. It supports weight evenly, holding bodies in place without resistance. Where they rest, the ground seems content to remain unchanged. A faint sound escapes briefly, a soft exhale, then fades. Silence returns immediately. The animals do not look outward now. They do not search the distance. Their attention rests inward, settled into their own steady rhythms. Time stretches again. There is no sense of minutes passing, only the continuation of the night. As it deepens gently around the camp, breathing remains slow, even in, out. The animals' bodies rise and fall subtly with each breath. The motion is smooth, predictable, soothing. It does not vary. It does not draw attention. A leg shifts slightly, then grows still. Another adjusts its position by only a fraction, enough to ease, then stops. The sand receives the movement and holds. The fire glows low nearby. Its warmth reaches them faintly, enough to be present, not enough to matter. The balance feels right. Shadows rest across their forms, soft, unchanging. They do not flicker. They do not stretch noticeably. Light and darkness have found agreement here. Breathing continues. Slow, quiet, in, out. The animals feel settled, not just for a moment, but for the long stretch of the night ahead. There is no sense of anticipation. Morning does not exist here yet, only rest. The camp feels steadier with them at ease. Their calm presence anchors the stillness, making it feel complete. Nothing pulls attention outward. Nothing interrupts. The desert beyond remains silent, wide, accepting. No sound crosses it. No movement presses inward. The animals remain, resting, breathing. Time continues without shape. Moments soften as they arrive, then dissolve, leaving no edges behind. Breathing stays slow, steady, in, out. The animals do not wake fully. They do not shift again for a long while. Their presence blends gently into the background of the night. The camp feels quieter now, not because anything has changed, but because everything has settled fully into place. The night holds them all evenly, and the rest continues. Quiet, steady, unchanging. The day no longer presses itself into the camp. It has loosened its hold quietly, without needing to be named, without asking to be remembered. What remains is the feeling after effort has ended. Bodies settle into stillness, more fully now. Sitting becomes resting. Resting becomes something easier, something that does not require awareness. Muscles soften in small ways, unnoticed, unless attention happens to pass by. Breathing slows, in and out. The rhythm arrives on its own, unforced. The motions that once carried the caravan across the desert feel distant now. Not erased, just no longer present. They belong to earlier hours, earlier light, earlier warmth. The night does not ask them to return. Hands rest where they fall. Feet find comfortable positions in the sand. Postures ease without correction. There is a quiet sense of familiarity in the way everyone has settled. These are movements learned over time, repeated often enough to become automatic. Nothing about them feels new. Nothing asks for thought. The desert air cools gradually, touching skin lightly, offering relief without contrast. The warmth of the day has already thinned, leaving behind a calm balance, easy to accept. Breathing continues, slow, even in, out. The memory of movement remains only as a softness in the body, not as strain, not as tension, just a gentle awareness. The day has already taken what it needed. No one reflects on the hours behind them. There is no replaying of moments, no recounting of steps. The routine of the day has finished quietly, like a well-known pattern reaching its end, without ceremony. The night does not ask for stories. It offers rest instead. A figure near the fire shifts slightly, easing their weight to a more comfortable position. The movement is small, almost instinctive, and then it is done. The body listens to itself, responds without effort. Another leans back, supported by the ground. Tension leaving shoulders gradually. The release is subtle, spreading slowly, unnoticed unless searched for. Breathing remains steady, soft, in, out. The camp feels calm in a deeper way now. Not just quiet, but settled. The kind of calm that arrives only after the body understands that nothing more is required. The tasks of the day have already dissolved. There is no sense of unfinished work, no list to return to. Everything that needed attention has already passed through it. Time stretches again, wide, unmeasured. Moments do not stack upon one another. They drift in gently, then move on, leaving no edges behind. The fire glows low nearby, its warmth steady, but no longer necessary. Those closest feel it faintly. Those farther away feel the cool night air instead. Both feel right. Breathing continues, slow, even, in, out. The routine of travel no longer defines the space. It has faded into the background, replaced by the simple presence of rest. The body recognizes the pause, without needing to name it. Movements become fewer now, adjustments smaller, pauses longer. The camp seems to breathe as a whole, rising and falling in a shared rhythm, one that does not require coordination. Each person rests within it naturally, without effort. The desert remains open and still around them, offering no sound, no interruption. The night feels wide enough to hold everything gently. Thoughts soften, attention drifts. There is no need to follow it. Breathing remains slow, steady, in, out. The feeling of the day settles deeper into the background, not remembered, not forgotten, simply placed somewhere. It no longer needs to be carried. The body understands this moment well. It recognizes the quiet that comes after repetition, after familiarity, after effort that no longer needs to continue. Nothing calls outward, nothing pulls inward. The camp holds the rest easily. Time becomes less distinct. The sense of before and after blurs gently, leaving only the present moment, wide, unremarkable. Breathing continues, soft, even, in, out. The night accepts everything as it is. The day has finished what it needed to do, and rest remains, steady, quiet, ready to deepen further. The meal has already passed. Nothing is being prepared now. Nothing is being served. Nothing waits to be finished. Simple bowls rest nearby, set aside without care. Their surfaces catch only a faint trace of firelight, then fall back into shadow. They are no longer part of any need. What they offered has already been received. The warmth from the food lingers faintly, not as a sensation to notice, but as a quiet balance within the body. It does not call attention to itself. It simply remains. Nearby, hands rest loosely. There is no reaching, no holding, no movement toward anything more. The body recognizes that it has enough. Breathing continues, slow, even, in, out. The fire remains low, its glow steady, contained. It no longer serves a purpose beyond presence. Its warmth reaches only a short distance, just enough to soften the cool night air nearby. It does not need tending. It does not change. Those closest feel it lightly. Those farther away feel the night instead. Both feel complete. The desert air moves gently across the camp, smoothing the transition between warmth and coolness. The balance feels natural, unremarkable, easy to accept. Nothing asks for adjustment. Blankets rest where they were placed earlier. Their folds remain undisturbed. The fabric holds warmth quietly, without effort. Inside the tent, the space feels ready, already shaped for rest. No one checks. No one rearranges. Everything has found its place. Breathing remains slow, steady. In, out. The sense of hunger no longer exists here. It has already faded, replaced by a gentle fullness, one that does not ask to be noticed. The body rests comfortably within it. Time stretches again, soft, unmeasured. Moments arrive without urgency, then pass, without leaving marks behind. The fire settles slightly lower, its glow dimming just enough. Edges of light soften. Shadows deepen gently, not dramatically. They find their places and remain there. The camp feels whole in this moment. Nothing is missing. Nothing needs to be added. The routines of eating, warming, preparing, all of them belong to earlier hours. They have completed their work quietly and stepped aside. Breathing continues, slow, even, in, out. A quiet satisfaction settles across the camp. Not emotional, not celebratory, simply physical. The kind that comes when the body understands that its needs have been met. Movements become rare now, adjustments even smaller. Those who remain near the fire sit without shifting. Those who have moved into the tent rest without disturbance. The camp holds stillness easily. The desert beyond remains silent, wide, accepting. No sound travels across it. No presence presses inward. The night deepens, but without change. Stars remain steady overhead, distant, unchanged. They do not brighten. They do not fade. They simply remain where they are. Breathing continues. Soft, steady, in, out. The warmth of the fire and the cool of the night settle into a quiet agreement. Neither dominates, neither withdraws. The balance feels complete. The sense of the day continues to fade, replaced by the simplicity of being here, now, without requirement. Nothing waits for morning, or nothing pulls toward tomorrow. The camp exists fully within the present moment, held by the desert, held by the night. The fire remains. The warmth remains. The stillness remains. Breathing stays slow, even, in, out. The space feels ready now. Not prepared, not arranged, simply ready. Everything that needed to happen has already happened, and the night continues to hold the camp gently. Quiet, complete, unchanging. The night remains as it is, wide, still, unhurried. The camp rests quietly within it. Nothing shifts now. Nothing asks to be noticed. The fire glows faintly, lower than before. Its warmth gentle enough to forget. Light settles close to the ground, then stays there, unchanging. Shadows remain where they are. They do not stretch. They do not move. Breathing continues. Slow, even, in, out. The desert holds everything evenly. Sand, tents, bodies. Quiet. Time no longer feels like something that moves forward. It feels spread thin, soft, unmeasured. Moments soften as they arrive, then dissolve, without edges. The presence of the caravan fades gently, not disappearing, just blending. People rest, animals rest, the camp rests. There is no separation now, no distinction that matters. The night does not change. It does not deepen further. It simply holds. Breathing remains quiet, steady, in, out. Awareness loosens, not leaving, just resting. The fire does not flicker. The air does not move. Everything feels familiar and unremarkable. Nothing arrives. Nothing leaves. The desert remains wide and patient. The camp remains settled. Stillness holds completely now, and the quiet remains. The space stays just as it is. Quiet, steady, unchanged by passing moments. Lights remain soft. Sounds remain distant. The night continues gently on its own. There's nothing left to follow. Nowhere else to go. Only the quiet movement of time. And whether you're still listening or already drifting, this place remains calm and waiting as the night carries on.